When I pull up, I clear the block out. Keep me a short and he'll break a jaw, call him knockout. Thought he a cheater, but ain't a thing that I don't know about.
All right, Edwin, UFC
All right.
280, Oliveira versus Makachev. What'd you think of the event?
It was a fun event. A lot of crazy things happened overall. A lot of unexpected twists and turns.
Yeah, definitely. I ended up paying for this one, so I did get the pay-per-view.
Nice.
Overall, I felt like it delivered, right? I mean, there's one part that we'll get to a little bit later
Sure.
that I wasn't super happy about. But other than that, it was dope. We got to see Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev to determine who would be the lightweight champion and in a lot of people's eyes, who's the best pound for pound, or at least within the top 2 or 3 pound for pound fighters in the world. And looks like it's Islam Makhachev, man. Looks like the hype is real.
Yeah,
DC,
no.
Khabib, all of them have been talking about this guy for a long time.
No, he came in and ended the fight, in 2 rounds? That was crazy.
Made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, he did. He did. What's your initial impression of that?
Well, I'm a little disappointed, I guess, in that Oliveira. I think he came prepared, but I also think that he relied too much on a very like defensive um jujitsu, like on the ground, um trying to, keep Islam in his guard and go from there with his attacking submission threats, which some he did have some threats in the first round,
He did.
but
No, you're right. He did pull guard in the first round. He wanted to be on his back and throw up. He threw up what? He attempted a triangle and an armbar, I think.
yeah, he almost looked like he could have gone for like an omoplata at one point too.
Yeah.
Um, he, is a dangerous guy off his
Very.
back, but you'll see in like higher level, just straight up jujitsu tournaments. It's very rare to see a guy actually finish from his back. So I know earlier this week I sent you a video of Chael Sonnen talking about how he thought it
Yeah.
was you can't submit guys off your back, as if he didn't get submitted from Anderson Silva from a triangle while he was in his guard.
Chael's the ultimate troll. He'll always say that he's undefeated and that he never tapped.
Yeah,
You know, that's just
but
what he does, and we love Chael Sonnen for that. But no, it's possible to be submitted, even knocked out from your back. We've seen up kick knockouts, we've seen submissions. It's very possible.
definitely I agree it's possible. And when you're really good, you can
Mm,
pull it off against other guys that aren't as good as Islam Makhachev. But since
yeah,
Islam Makhachev's top game is so good, it would be nearly impossible for Oliveira to have gotten a submission off of his back. Like I said, in jujitsu tournaments that are just straight up jujitsu at the highest level,
hmm
it's harder to see. It's less common to see guys actually win from their back. You'll
yeah,
have guys like Gordon Ryan, who's like known as like the one of the best, or if not the best, jujitsu guys out right now. He'll talk about like having a very attacking, top heavy jujitsu
hmm
rather than defensive like Oliveira. So in that, point of view, I'm like not super surprised, I guess, that it went this way. It just was more of a question that was answered, like whether Islam is that good or not, and he is that good.
yeah. I also during this fight, I saw Charles was a little hesitant in the stand up because usually he's reckless and just throwing punches from all angles and such. And somehow Islam was more active standing up than I thought he would be. You know,
Yeah, I think it maybe had to do with Charles being hesitant because of, the takedown threat.
yeah, I for
But
sure saw that. It
Makachev's
was
stand up surprised me though.
yeah, no. At the end of the fight came with a was it Islam caught Charles with a check right hook, put him down, and then he just mounted him and put him in the arm triangle.
So sick, dude. He got that
Yeah,
easily, and to do that to a guy like Charles with the most submission wins in UFC
yeah,
history.
the most submission wins and the most finishes in history, and he finished him. So that's crazy. That's bonkers.
Finished him pretty early on in the second round, or somewhere in the middle of the
It was
second
like
round, I
yeah, it was
think.
like earlier middle. It wasn't late. No.
So I mean, dominant performance by Islam Makhachev. It's it's crazy, man, because it almost seems like he's gonna, like he might be that guy for a while now. Like
I think so
maybe
too.
all the hype about him, whether or not being the next Khabib, could be true. Could be.
At this point, why not? I don't see anything saying that he wouldn't be.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, stand up wise, I thought it was a little closer than I was expecting it.
Yeah,
And all across the board, I think this was a very like a card where you don't want to have a parlay bet going on because there was so much.
there was a lot going on. There was a few weight misses and a few surprises that happened, but some information that got disclosed after the fact of the fights. But that happens.
Yeah, and sometimes it sucks when that happens.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you think is next for both of these guys?
Okay. Well, what is it? Early on in fight week, like Monday or Tuesday, Dana White announced that Alexander Volkanovski, the current featherweight champion and number one pound for pound fighter, would be moving up and challenging the winner of the main event. So now in Perth, Australia, UFC 284, it's going to be what is it? Islam Makachev against Alexander Volkanovski, and that's going to be interesting. That's a
Yes,
fun fight.
that is fun. I like that they actually had him in the octagon, kind of like they do in boxing, like
Yeah,
hyping up the next fight. I thought that was cool.
brought him face to face. Yeah,
I Volkanovski's one of those guys, like I mentioned before with Oliveira, where I always doubt them, and then I always end up regretting doubting them. This is one of those cases where I just I think Islam's too big for him. Maybe I know Volkanovski's like deceptively strong and he's very skillful and he could very well be the very best, but I think Islam could dominate him on the ground.
he could definitely probably even be stronger than Islam because Volkanovski's shorter, but at one point he weighed around what over 200 pounds,
Yeah, he used to play rugby, right?
right? And he was a tank of a little man. So I don't know if that'll come into play, especially with a not as big of a weight cut. We'll see how he does against Volkanovski. And we've seen him. He's a good pressure fighter. He's very well rounded. So we've seen him take on submission specialists and striking specialists. So it'll be a fun fight.
It will be fun. I think if I had to choose between one of those right now, I'd say Makachev, and he kind of
And
proved to me that he is, what everyone says he is.
he's legit.
Yeah, he's legit as fuck. I mean, to do that to Oliveira, man.
Yeah.
So
So yeah. Yeah. And that's a very quick turnaround. That's in what, 3 months?
yeah, yeah,
That's
it's
that's that's fun. That's crazy. It's usually, maybe like 6 months later or something like that. But now in 3 months we'll see them fight. So that's fun. And then as far as Charles goes, just off the top of my head, just because of the timeline and another result from this card, I could see him fighting Benil Dariush.
yeah, Benil. I mean, we'll get to him in a little bit, but
Yeah,
he had
yeah,
an awesome showing. He's a contender for sure.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I could see him going against Benil, or maybe the winner of like the Poirier Chandler fight.
Sure, why not? Or a dark horse that people seem to be forgetting about in the lightweight division is number seven ranked Rafael Fiziev.
You're right, dude. Yeah, he's a legit guy too, and God, that division is just so stacked.
Yeah. So I mean, there's options out there, and either way, it's a waiting game until after UFC 284 to see who'll be the contender. But there's time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys too. I mean, um, is Dos Anjos still in that
Yeah, yeah,
lightweight?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He went from lightweight to welterweight, and then recently from welterweight back down to lightweight. So yeah, he's still around too.
You got Gamrot in there too, even though he didn't go his way this time around. But he's a contender. Saryukian, that dude, he's coming up. Um, what's that one dude's name? Jalen Turner.
Okay.
They're a
Is
little,
he?
a little newer,
Yeah,
but a little greener, but they could be fighting top 10 guys soon. So
absolutely. And then yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys for Islam to fight, and then he's got to clean out the rest of the division. So they'll yeah. I mean, for one of these guys to make their stake their claim, they've really got to put on a showcase because that division is stacked. You can't just go down the number line.
Yeah, that's true. Any matchup that is made between any of those guys in the top 15 is a good fight.
Yeah, why not?
Oliveira though, do you see him coming back?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's basically beat everybody else. So I don't know if he could stay at lightweight, maybe even go back down to featherweight if he really wanted to. But I think he can make another run for the title.
Yeah, well, 23-1 now, Makachev. Good record. Who was his one loss?
Oh, it was like years ago. Years ago, he was TKO'd. I think it was like UFC one something. It's forever ago. UFC 192. He was TKO'd by Adriano Martins.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
2015. Yeah,
long ass time ago.
yeah. Hasn't lost since. So yeah, no.
Well, he did dominate about 5 minutes of control time. More significant strikes, 30-19 for Makachev.
Yeah.
Total strikes, 72 landed to 25 landed, and one knockdown. That one was the surprising one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super surprising because Oliveira gets hit and knocked down often, but to get hit by Makachev and knocked down was.
Yeah, you don't expect that from him. Yeah.
Anything else to add about that main fight?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we know what's coming from. Yeah, we expect Makachev and Volkanovski coming up soon, and we'll see what they decide for Charles.
Yeah, I do hope they give him somebody up there. Beneil Dariush is probably the lowest in the rankings that I would like him to fight against right now, just because I think he does deserve to be like again a fight away from another shot at the title. Sometimes it's hard to give somebody a shot at the title when they're already when they lose that convincingly, but Charles I think has earned it.
Give him like 1 or 2 fights, then he'll be back in. Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, let's go with the co-main next then, dude.
All right.
Super disappointing here. Co-main event between TJ Dillishaw and Aljamain Sterling. Bantamweight title fight. So, I rarely buy these pay-per-views, right? Yeah. I usually go watch them somewhere else or stream them. And then this time around, I decided, let's pay for it. And I felt robbed, dude. I want like $20 back out of that money because TJ Dillashaw decided that he was gonna show up to the fight after supposedly dislocating his shoulder 20 times in training, is what he said in his interview.
He said since April his shoulder was dislocated and just popping in and out during training camp.
And then it pops out almost immediately. The first takedown that Aljamain even tried. So to get to the results, another round 2 win. Surprising that TJ Dillashaw even made it to the second round. He does show that he's tough that way, but gets TKO finished by Sterling about 3 minutes into the second round or something like that.
It was something like that. Now I could see as soon as in the first round, as soon as he got taken down, TJ was wincing and making a face. I could see while they were on the ground, I could see, something's wrong. You could kind of see that. And then definitely in between rounds 1 and 2, his corner popped the shoulder back in. And then beginning of round 2, while they were in stand-up, his shoulder, it was hanging funny. He wasn't even throwing it or anything. He was just throwing the one. I was like, oh yeah, there's something wrong here. So yeah, not surprising. He beat TJ Dillashaw lost. And I know I picked him, and it's one of those things, having known that he had that long injury, it's like you wouldn't even have bet that at all. That's just dumb to bet on a one-armed fighter.
The fight shouldn't have even happened, which is what I'm upset about, is that
he held up the division.
Yeah. That his corner did him a disservice. He did himself a disservice because, dude, if his shoulder really came out 20 times and that happened again, and he went into the fight. His shoulder is completely fucked because he's also had two surgeries, I think, on his
Yeah,
shoulders, and your
that's correct.
shoulder is so intricate, as you know what I mean. Like there's so much going on with it, and it's one of the worst areas that you can try to rehab again.
Yeah, you
Um,
kind of need that. Yeah, you kind of need that appendage.
he's not gonna be back in the same way, dude.
No.
He's not gonna be back. I see, and especially with his age, he's like 38. He might have like a fight left before he decides to call it. If
Yeah.
he should call it already, though. Yeah,
I
I
was
think he's done.
I thought I was surprised. I thought after this fight, because I think we saw the first like 10-6 round in UFC history. I thought that he was going to retire after this fight. I was like, oh, here we go, he's done. But no, he said he'd be back. But yeah, and that's disappointing. And I think as far as what's next for TJ, I think like since being in the shape that he's in now and such, I mean, just make him fight Dominic Cruz again. I don't know, do
That'd be
something.
decent.
Don't I wouldn't really agree with feeding him to a younger guy just to get embarrassed and destroyed because he still does have the somewhat legacy of being one of the best bantamweights ever. A two-time former champion. But I think take put him up against like another like old guy like Dominic Cruz would be great.
I would see that. Yeah, that'd be cool. And two guys that have history of injuries, especially Dominic
Yeah,
Cruz.
two men with just broken bodies. Just put him in the cage one last time. Loser leaves town match.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually.
I don't know.
I think that's the only way to go
That's
with
a,
TJ.
that's a respectful way of like being done with him.
Yeah. Yeah, because that shoulder is not coming back
No.
the same
And
way.
do you think this the way this fight went, does it tarnish Aljamain in any way?
No, because Aljamain had no he came prepared, he made weight, he looked good. He did
Yeah.
what was asked of him. It's not his fault this time, you know what I mean?
No.
That TJ, decided to fight without telling anyone, which by the way, they get medically checked before their fights.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that consist of? Because you're not going to be able to tell that this dude's shoulder is torn or
Well, I mean,
dislocated.
what both the physicians, the doctors and USADA, they're both employees of the UFC, so I don't expect some, behind the scenes fuckery going on for sure. That wouldn't
especially
surprise me. Yeah.
especially in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. They paid oil money to get that stat card.
Yeah, man, but
Good for them, but yeah.
it does feel like a fuck you to the fans
Yeah.
from, the UFC and Dillishaw. Like, yeah, this fight isn't going to be what you're paying for because I'm definitely not going to win because you're not going to be the best guy in the world. In this case,
Mm-mm.
Aljamain Sterling with one arm.
Yeah.
You're just not. I like even, it's not like a Rocky movie here. You're
No,
kind of,
nothing happened.
especially at your age, like it's not going to happen. And you're just taking money from the fans and wasting time of everybody in that division, really.
Because, if it wasn't Dillashaw getting the title fight, it could have been, Sandhagen, Cheeto, or Marab even, but it could have somebody more deserving at that point for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So then, as far as for Aljamain, he does now have another mandatory challenger in Sean O'Malley sometime in the future. But in the press conference, Aljamain was talking about maybe having one or two more fights at bantamweight and then moving up because this weight cut is too much for him apparently.
Yeah. That would be a good move, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
I mean, if he's killing himself, yeah, leave that division, go up to featherweight, 10 more pounds. Why not? And I mean, Aljamain is huge for bantamweight, dude.
yeah. No, he is. He does seem like he has to cut a lot of weight too. Um, do you think O'Malley would be next? I think he might be, right?
I think
And
he
he'll
is.
probably take it. But I don't know. I feel like even O'Malley should take another fight. Like O'Malley should fight Chito or something again, like a
Yeah.
rematch for his sake. For his sake.
For his
Because
credibility, if anything, but yeah. Otherwise, no, give the title fight to Cheeto or yeah, anybody else. But yeah, I think they're going to give it to Sean O'Malley. He's their little mini Conor McGregor project, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. That's why he was in the position that he was in this time around.
Yeah.
But overall, kind of, you know, not that it was uneventful, but it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Co-main. There was a lot of good fights on this card, and then the main event, even though it ended early,
That
was
was fun either
fun
way.
to see. So
Yeah.
it made up for it, but a little disappointing there. Sterling Dillishaw matchup there. I rewatched this event.
Okay.
This one I didn't rewatch. I didn't even care.
You
I
just
was like,
skip
it
past it,
was.
you're like,
We know what happened, right? Like
just a one-sided flop.
7 minutes of top control by Aljamain Sterling.
Hmm.
So yeah, not competitive. 148 total strikes landed
So,
for
yeah,
Sterling
dominant.
versus 13 for for TJ. So yeah,
Not even there was that was it's not it's like a non-event. That was not a fight.
yeah, and it's a fun division though. It's a fun
Yeah.
division. You got your Peter Yan and um O'Malley who also fought. You got Dvalishvili, Sandhagen, Chito. I mean, the list goes on. It's one of the most stacked divisions on here.
Hmm.
So we'll see what's
And
next.
was it? There's rumor of Henry Cejudo coming back, either
Yeah.
for featherweight or bantamweight. Probably not featherweight anymore since the main event title fight got made now for Australia. So he could go back down to bantamweight, but we'll see.
Aljamain also mentioned Cejudo's name. So there's interest there on both by both parties, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if Henry jumped everybody in line for the title shot.
Especially since he never did lose the belt. He gave it up.
Yeah, he retired
He vacated it.
for whatever weird reason or whatever.
Money was money. They wouldn't pay him, and he was a 2 division champion, Olympic gold medalist, and he was gunning to for C4 for featherweight, but and just they didn't give him money.
And now he's back. Who knows if they're making it worth his leave of absence or whatever,
Yeah.
but he's probably gonna get paid the same. I would like to see him fight Sterling next. That
I'd
would be
like
cool.
that. I'd be okay with that. Either I'd like Cejudo to fight Aljamain over Sean O'Malley
Same.
for sure. Yeah.
I want O'Malley to rematch Chito while Sterling gets fights Cejudo.
That'd be good. I'd be content with that scenario, but we'll see if that even goes through. Otherwise, it'll be Sterling and O'Malley.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of O'Malley,
Right.
fight of the night. I don't know if
think
it
so.
actually did it get fight of the night. I forgot which one got fight of the night. It should have been them. I think it was them.
I think
Yeah,
they were fight of the night.
yeah, they were fight of the night. For a reason, it was a great fight. Some controversy at the end of the day with scorecards.
Yep.
Let's see. Let me get your thoughts on this because I have a few thoughts on this
Sure.
fight here.
Okay. Well, the way I saw it, let's see. At the end, I scored the fight at least 2-1 for Piotr Yan, and let's see. Sean O'Malley outstruck him for sure, but that's it. Piotr Yan got 6 takedowns and 5.5 minutes of ground control time, but somehow the judges gave the decision to Sean O'Malley via split decision, which, where I was watching at the bar, nobody believed that Sean O'Malley won that fight. Everybody was like, they were, happy because, it's an American beating a Russian, whatever. But they were like, oh, yeah, W's a W, but no, he did not win that fight. No way he won that fight. Yeah, they hurt each other. They were, launching back and forth, countering, hitting, and such. But, and Jan did get hurt more. Sean did land a good knee at one point. I think it was in the second or third round. He landed a good knee. But, Jan was all over him. He was pressuring him the whole time. He took him down at will. He even did a cool little Muay Thai trip that was slick.
That was cool. That was in the second round.
Yeah, that was just slick. I was like, okay, that was sweet. He just took him down at will, really, and O'Malley didn't have much for him on the ground. Like, yeah, he'd get up, but he was right back down. And I honestly don't see how Piotr Yan did not win that fight, according to the judges. Some blind people out there.
No, I agree. I did have in my like the way I see it, Jan won. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would have given it to Jan. The problem here is the scoring. The way that the scoring criteria that they give the judges now
Yeah.
apparently changed recently and is gives um more weight to damage done.
Okay.
So in a way that they're really focusing on trying to um on giving more credibility to striking, and that kind of sucks because that makes it less desirable to go to the ground. You're pretty much only encouraged to go to the ground if you're looking for a submission, if you're straight up gonna submit, or if you're gonna finish by TKO punches. And that sucks for anyone that has a wrestling pedigree. I guess what they're trying to fix is the casual fan base getting bored. They're trying to
Hmm.
like avoid that. But I think they did it in a way that you know it really it ruins the grappling aspect of the sport if they don't change it again, right? So it's going to discourage people from going to the ground too much. They're trying to avoid like a lay and pray situation where the wrestler is just kind of laying on them and they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
when,
can see why that could be boring, but still, like, if you get taken down, it's your job to get back up.
it is, but I
It's
think
ridiculous.
they're trying to appeal to like the casual, right?
Yeah.
The
The,
person
the,
that
the
wants to see a
that
knockout.
drunk person on a Saturday night that's just like, woo, knock him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Truck of dirt.
Exactly though.
Yeah.
That they don't understand what's going on when it goes to the ground. Um
It's
be,
the fans that that woo in the stands, and those fans.
exactly. No, yeah. Um but it sucks because Jan won that fight control time and he you know
Statistically, he won that fight. There's no way, like, I don't know. Big John McCarthy's rolling over in his grave.
but O'Malley had more significant strikes, 84 to 58 um landed,
Mm-hmm.
and did more damage to Jan, the cuts and everything. Jan did have 5 minutes and 44 seconds of control time compared to 2 seconds of control time for O'Malley. So that's a
Exactly.
big one.
That's a big gap. I mean, and right afterwards, what's it? After the fight, O'Malley did release a new like Abu Dhabi exclusive merch drop, and I'm not buying any of it. I'm not buying any of those T-shirts.
And six takedowns to zero
Yeah,
for Jan also.
six
So
to none. Yeah. So, like I said, statistically, like I don't see how, but maybe it's just all. Was it Ariel Helwani? Didn't he tweet like the UFC is all theater? He mentioned he tweeted something like that. So I mean, clearly, even like, nobody thinks O'Malley won. I'm just saying, nobody does. Find me
yeah,
one person that has a legitimate claim that he did win.
I saw.
I wonder if even O'Malley thinks he won.
No, he didn't. Even him and his team, they looked like they couldn't believe it. And then when they interviewed him and O'Malley was all like, I don't know, I got to watch it again. When they asked him if like how he think it went, I don't think he thought he deserved to win either. Um, I do lean towards O'Malley in round one.
Okay.
Um, I was on the fence about that one though, because I could see it going to Jan too.
Okay.
Um, Jan definitely took round two.
Yeah.
I thought round three was pretty close, but I
Yeah.
think Jan ended on top, and so it should go to Jan. So I did see it, 2-1 for Jan at least.
Okay.
Could, but it's one of those weird fights where like I could see a 2-1 for Jan, I could see it 3-0 for Jan, and I don't view it as a robbery anymore if it was 2-1 O'Malley. I just don't agree with that,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's everywhere. You're like, it could be this way, that way, that way. But all right.
It depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking striking into account, I think O'Malley probably did win that fight. But if you're looking at all aspects of MMA, Peter Yan won.
I'm saying that's what it is. It's an MMA fight. It's not a boxing fight or a Muay Thai fight.
That's what sucks about the rule change.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about the rule change. But overall, I thought
Yeah, fun fight overall. Yeah,
it was a good one.
lived up to the hype.
O'Malley, he got tired. O'Malley got tired from all the wrestling. He was doing a
You,
good job
yeah,
incorporating it, but he was switching stances really well. He was active, mixing up the striking. Um, he even briefly took Jan's back at the end of the first round. They didn't do anything with it, and Jan got up right away, but it was interesting to see. He moved pretty well and hurt Jan in the second round too, but Jan ended up dominating the rest of that round with top control and everything. That's the thing though that I hate about this new scoring criteria. Like I get that it's for the casual viewership, to increase, but that's the cool thing about MMA though, is that you want to see what someone has in their arsenal that from different aspects
yeah.
of MMA
And
and see how
say
they
that
put it
multiple
together.
techniques. Yeah, multiple strategies and techniques to play out to see which one's more dominant. That's the point of it. But
How you can put them together against someone else that have their
yeah,
own. So whatever
absolutely.
though,
Uh,
good fight overall.
yeah, no, fun fight. And what's next? I mean, I think Sean O'Malley fights Aljamain Sterling for the title eventually, and Piotr Jan. I mean, on paper, it looks like he's not doing good, but if you're a diehard fan, what is it? Okay, so he lost his last one to Sean. Before that, he did lose to Aljamain, and then before that, he was disqualified against Aljamain in a fight that he was completely dominating. So he's not done or anything by any sense. So
No.
you can give him another fun fight, make him fight. I don't know, like I don't even know anybody in the top 5 of that division would be fine, just
Yeah.
to keep him in talks.
He's also one of those. He's a fight or two away from being back at a title shot because he's been more screwed. Hawani did tweet like ever since Jan landed that knee um on Sterling, that illegal, that turn of events for him. Like it's all been kind of downhill, and not even to
Mm-hmm.
his because of his fault or anything. It was just um so loses by DQ for landing that knee, that illegal knee.
Right.
Then loses to Sterling in a close fight, but Sterling
He
won for
beat him, yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now this controversial split decision against O'Malley.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's totally a fight away again, fight or two away from getting back to title contention.
Yeah. So yeah, as long as he fights anybody in the top 5, he'll be fine.
For sure. So let's go back to another fight, a lightweight fight. Benil
Okay.
Dariush
That's
versus,
right.
unless you had anything else to add about that Jan O'Malley stuff.
No.
So Benil Dariush against Mateusz Gamrot.
That's
Mateus
right.
Gamrot.
That was a fun fight.
It
The
was fun,
grappling
dude.
exchanges were entertaining. They were rolling on the ground. They were all over. That was a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, dude. True wrestling versus jujitsu there. Um, yeah, high
There's
level
some weird
too.
positions I've never seen. I was like, what is going on there? And it was just a fun fight overall. That was a nice little showcase.
Yeah, dude. I really, really liked watching. It was fun. That's one of those ones where it's like, see, that's the type of thing that you're gonna miss out on if the UFC goes too much towards let's see stand up. It reminds me of
Mm-hmm.
like the UFC video game that has the stand and bang option,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, it's fun or whatever, but this isn't a boxing game. This is a UFC game. We want to see MMA.
Yeah.
This is what that is,
Part
part
of
of
it.
it,
Yeah.
and it's fun to watch. End of the day though, unanimous decision. Benil Dariush deserved that. Thirty
Was
twenty
it
seven,
okay? I
thirty
was gonna
twenty
say what was the
seven,
score?
and 29-28.
Okay.
I did see it 30-27 though.
I thought so too. I didn't think. I mean, Mateus, there was just some good transitions you could make an argument for, but either way, at the end, Benil Dariush won. Good for him, but I don't know where he goes from here. I mean, fight
I
Charles is his best option. Call out Charles or call out Justin Gaethje even. Why not? Call out somebody in the top, in the top of the division just to get him closer because he's not getting the title fight next. We already know that. So he should not sit around for another year, though. I don't think so. I don't think that would benefit him.
I think he should fight Oliveira. I think you mentioned that earlier. I think he should fight Oliveira. Um, but again, either Oliveira or Dariush could wait for the winner of Poirier versus Chandler, or even fight a Justin Gaethje. We're forgetting about Fiziev. I mean, this division is so stacked. Anything could happen.
But just as long as he's active and doesn't sit around for another year like he did just this past time. He's still got it. He's a legitimate fighter. He's a challenge to anybody that steps in there with him.
And everybody forgets about him, dude. He's on a big win streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like on an 8-fight win streak or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 8-fight win streak.
8.
With some good highlights in there. He's got power in his hands. He's shown that.
He's very well rounded.
His jiu-jitsu is amazing. It's top level, and he has power. Gets a knockdown against Gamrot. I mean, yeah, he's overlooked, and he shouldn't be, and he's gonna compete for that title. He was supposed to fight Islam Makachev. That fight didn't end up happening.
Which one was that one? Was that the Bobby Green replacement?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
So he almost had that opportunity. I want to see them fight each other.
Yeah, I'd like that too. Yeah.
You know, I think I'd be cool. No, my vote here is Oliveira versus Dariush.
Okay.
And then Makachev versus Volkanovski. We'll see what happens there. It would just be hard then to see, does the winner of Oliveira Dariush get a shot at the winner of Volkanovski versus Islam, or do we wait for Poirier versus Chandler to happen?
I don't think the winner of Poirier Chandler would become number one contender because both their last fights were for the title and they both lost. You know, they both lost to Oliveira.
True. That would make it perfect though for a Fiziev versus Gaethje fight, which I think would be amazing.
That's a fun fight.
Yeah.
That's a stand and bang fight. That's a fun one.
That would be awesome. Actually, I wish I was in the war room with Dana and the matchmakers during that time, man. There's just so many other fights that can be made right now, you know?
Absolutely.
Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira again would be really dope.
Timeline, it fits.
Timeline, you said?
Yeah, the timeline, you know, the recovery and medical suspension, their return time would be the same, so why not?
Yeah. Yeah, and the Gaethje Fiziev fight, right?
Sure.
I mean, not announced. No one's talking about that, but I think it'd be perfect. Like you mentioned, timeline. I think that's, you know, with Chandler and Poirier coming up. I don't know what. So yeah, Gaethje and Fiziev would be good. Following that, and then just giving Beneil the shot at Oliveira. You got anything else to add about these lightweights? Gamrot, Dariush, or anything else in lightweight division?
No, we just got to wait and see also how next month's fight turns out between Chandler and Poirier. So it all depends, and either way, there won't be they have time to make a legitimate claim. It's just whoever can take that opportunity right now because, Islam's going to fight Volkanovski, so there's plenty of time to find a worthy contender afterwards.
Yeah. Stacked division. So
very stacked. So
they won't have any trouble making good fights there.
No.
Next fight was the first fight on the card for the main card. Caitlin Chukagian versus Manon Fiorot. Fiorot ends up taking that fight by just unanimous decision in the 5th round, 29-28 all across the board. I didn't have too much on this one. I don't think I didn't have money for it. I kind of shit on it a little bit last week.
We all did, and then we shit on it, and then Caitlin goes and misses weight.
30% of her purse, actually, I think.
Yeah. she lost a good chunk of her money, missed weight, so and then she lost. So I mean, Manon Fiorot now jumps up. She was number 6 or number 7, something like that. Now she's gonna be bumped up, and so is Alexa Grasso. So maybe either she fights Alexa Grasso or one of the other contenders there, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because I know doesn't Jessica Andrade have a fight already booked? Oh wait, she's scheduled to face Lauren Murphy at 283. There you go.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's perfect. Number 3 versus number 4.
Yeah, so then that's 3, 4. So who's number 2?
Tyler Santos.
Okay, there's fight her. Why not?
Yeah, her Grasso, so there's
Nah, give Grasso the title fight. She's done enough.
Yeah. She doesn't even want the title fight though. She was talking about wanting like another fight in between, which I think is not a bad idea. I don't think she's ready for Valentina, but she might not be, after a fight from now anyway, and you never know what can happen. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Pena versus Nunes, right?
Right, you never know, but I mean, I think Valentina's gotten really comfortable lately. Like a little too comfortable where I don't know if she's not training as hard or not, or you know, she did almost lose the title to Talia Santos. That's the closest anybody was ever actually to beating her. So I don't know if it's just she's comfortable and she doesn't think much of these contenders or something, but I don't know. I think something crazy will happen soon.
Yeah, she's due for losing her her title reign.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Otherwise, yeah, no, we weren't really even interested in this fight. And then they go ahead and miss weight and no.
Yeah. It's kind of like that Marvin Hagler quote with Shevchenko at this point.
What's that?
Like it's tough to get out and do the work or something at 5 a.m. When you're sleeping in silk sheets or silk pajamas or whatever the quote is. I messed that quote up, but something along those lines.
Point is, when you're from the hood, you're hungry. Then when you're in your silk pajamas and mansion, you don't really care about getting up at 5 a.m. anymore.
Yeah, you're Conor McGregor. You're spending your money on cocaine and other shit, and you don't care about training as hard.
It's a hell of a drug, man. It's a hell of a drug. According to Rick James, I don't know.
But he he's done. Valentina Shevchenko, it doesn't show any of those type of signs or anything like that, but it must be harder. Like she's definitely made a lot of money being champion for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, we know she wants the Amanda fight, but they're not really in a hurry to make that. Like the matchmakers aren't like, oh, we got to make this fight right now ASAP. It's like she wants it, but nobody else wants it. Because she already fought Amanda twice, 2 very, very close fights. Yeah,
arguably won one of those at least.
Yeah, but it's like she didn't, according to the judges, twice. So it's like she wants it, nobody else really does. Otherwise, she's just got to keep going through the division. Otherwise, what do you think? Maybe she would take on the strawweight champion, just to keep things interesting in those divisions. Otherwise, it's like,
yeah, but what, she gonna fight Esparza or wait? Like, I don't even care about watching her fight Esparza. Esparza's scheduled to fight Wei Li, right?
Yeah, next month.
So she'll probably fight. I think Wei Li will beat Esparza.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a month. But no. So otherwise, there's not much else really going on in these divisions right now, especially the flyweight. Just get a good contender to rise up and challenge Valentina.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any much else to add about this fight. It was okay. But the main event of the prelim card.
Oh, the featured fight, yes.
The featured fight. So the fight that they use to get you to buy the pay-per-view.
That was a good fight.
Much. Great fight. Bilal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. I really like sometimes these fights when they match up 2 great grapplers together.
Mm-hmm.
You end up getting a lot of times like an Usman versus Covington where you think you would think that they're gonna try to out wrestle each other, but really it actually turns out into a stand up war. So you
Mm-hmm.
end up getting like two guys just throwing heavy
Just
punches at
throwing
each
leather,
other.
yeah.
These two guys were training partners at one point, I believe. And so it made it a little bit interesting just knowing that. And then they were both going ham though. They were throwing hard punches. Bilal Muhammad's hands look great. For especially for somebody that's been criticized so much for how much he wrestles.
For just smothering opponents. Yeah, no, he's had that was it casuals would call it boring. We'd call it like he's just too much pressure, but no. Yeah, that was his main criticism with that. He just wrestles people and keeps them on the ground. But hey, if you're good at it, why not? And
Exactly, dude.
and yeah, in this one, no takedown attempts on either side, which was a crazy statistic that nobody expected.
Yep.
And Bilal wins by TKO round 2. That was crazy. His first TKO like finish in the UFC after 15 fights.
Yeah. Yeah. Against the favorite in this case was actually Brady because of how he's been fighting up until now.
Mm-hmm.
So and I actually had Brady, but even though Bilal was one of those where I was like, it's hard to bet against him because he's also been really good. But
I would not bet against him. He had
Brady
Coach
was,
Khabib, yeah. He trained with Khabib in this camp.
and
He's ready.
that worked out for him.
Yeah.
Sean Brady was undefeated up until this point.
Was he? What was his record? Like 10-0 or something?
15-0.
Oh.
He was been doing great, actually, you know. Yeah. Ends up losing though, gets TKO'd. Bilal looks really good, and now he makes a good case for himself moving forward with getting he had that no contest with Leon Edwards.
Right.
He beat Damian Maia, he beat Wonder Boy, he beat Vicente Luque, and now he beat another up and coming guy, Sean Brady.
Mm-hmm.
So he is, definitely making a case for himself to fight for the title within another fight or two. I don't
Yeah.
definitely
Otherwise,
don't think
right now, who could he fight? Let's see, I'm looking up the rankings right now in that division. Let's see. So Bilal's number 5. Ahead of him's Gilbert Burns, Hamza Chimaev, Colby Covington, Kamaru, and then Leon. So okay, so Leon's fighting Kamaru. They're trying to make Chimaev and Covington. I mean, he could fight Gilbert. He could fight. Let's see, Jeff.
I would love that actually.
That'd be a fun one. Or if they're still on this Masvidal hype train, why not make Masvidal and Bilal? Because Masvidal dropped to number 11 in the rankings.
Oh yeah, he did.
If they want to
You're
keep
right.
him, if they want to keep that hype train going, why not make him fight Bilal? I'm sure Bilal would love that fight.
I don't know if they're trying to bury Jorge like that.
It wouldn't be good for Jorge, but if they want to keep him in contention, they gotta keep him fighting top guys.
You're right. I am surprised that they have Masvidal lower than Thompson right now. But I mean, yeah, Masvidal, that would be a good fight. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think he should fight Gilbert Burns.
That was the rumored fight that they were trying to put together, but nothing has come out of it yet. So either for Bilal, make him fight Burns or Masvidal. Why not? Or Covington, if that fight with Chimaev falls through. Why not Covington?
Yeah, if that Chimaev fight doesn't happen, if Chimaev can't make weight, have Bilal be the backup.
The backup. Why not? Yeah, I'd take that.
That's cool. Yeah. Either way, this division's also pretty stacked, dude.
Yeah. And we
It's
still
fun.
got to wait for the fight in the UK between Leon and Usman. So we definitely need a contender fight between that.
Yeah. Yeah. But whatever, he ends up showing that he's a contender. He's gonna be in one of those big fights.
And I like it. What's his nickname? Remember the name? I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It makes sense. And he tends to make good picks. He puts out his picks on Twitter before
He's a smart guy, yeah.
For every fight, and he gets a lot of them right. Good analysis of shit too when he's on a commentary table. Yeah. Anything else to add about that fight?
No, I think we got our picks, and then as far as Sean Brady, what was he ranked? Like He was number 8, so I like to see him fight like maybe like Shavkat Ramanov or even Luque. Why not? Or Michael Chiesa. That'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah, Shavkat would be a good fight too.
Yeah,
Those
just
that
let's
guy's
get that
legit
guy up ranked higher. I like him. Let's get him up in the top 10.
for sure. Yeah, he's a beast. Well, Shavkat actually is top 10. He's number
Is
10. Yeah,
okay, he's right at 10. Okay.
I don't know when these were last updated, but
They'll be different after Wednesday.
yeah, yeah, they got Daniel Rodriguez at number 14 on this one too.
Ew.
Um, but yeah, fun fights. That one, I was happy to see them go, blow for blow.
That was a fun fight.
Other than that, pretty much all decisions under that, besides that Makachev submission via armbar to Gordon. But yeah,
The only other fight on the undercard that has like some weight to it was the light heavyweight fight between Nikita Krylov against Volkan Oezdemir.
yeah,
Just for the sake of rankings, I suppose. You know, Nikita did beat Volkan, who's been a long time staple in the division. It was a fun fight, you know, for the first 2 rounds. It was
yeah,
very competitive, but then round 3, you could tell Volkan Oezdemir was gassed out, and Nikita just took it to him and just beat him by decision, but still beat him.
yeah. Totally outstruck him by quite a lot.
Yeah.
But and had him on the ground for the longest time, especially I think it was might have been in that second or third round. He had him on the ground for a lot of that.
I think it was
Let's see, total of 9 minutes of control time for Krylov.
I got the rankings.
I think it was that first round. The first round was fun.
Yeah.
Was it first round or second round? At one point they started swinging. Oezdemir.
That's when Oezdemir is the most dangerous because he does have a lot of power. He used to knock out guys. He used to be scary.
Yeah, that first round for Oezdemir was fun. Probably could have given him that round, but aside from that, Krylov dominated after that round.
Yeah, so Volkan Oezdemir is ranked 8 right now. I'm sure that'll go down after Tuesday. And Nikita Krylov is number 10, so I'm sure they'll probably like swap spots in the rankings. I don't know.
Most likely.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just freshen up this light heavyweight division. It's been so stale for a minute now.
It has been, yeah. You got the Teixeira rematch soon though.
Yeah, and then Blachowicz is fighting Ankalaev also, so
that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got Barallo with a decision win, and didn't see too much going on there. You had Nurmagomedov win his decision win against Omar Gadzhiev. I forgot how to say his name.
Oh, yeah, I'm not pronouncing that. You can go ahead and
try.
Yeah. Omar Gadzhiev.
Yeah.
Sure.
But Nurmagomedov gets that decision win. Don't remember too much of that one either, to be honest with you. I just remember
those were early. Those were early in the day. Those were like 11 in the morning for me.
And Nurmagomedov, all I do remember is him dominating for like on top control for a long time.
Oh, Abu Bakr, yeah. But then, post main event, because he's Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov is in with Islam and Khabib. He got in an altercation with Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, I saw that video.
That was fun. So that just means, Khamzat
Chimaev is unhinged, dude.
He doesn't care who he goes after.
Chimaev is on something, man.
He's just going after everybody. He doesn't care. I love him.
Another fight I was excited about.
What's that?
It was okay though.
What one?
Well, not even really, because Petrosyan versus Dobson. Petrosyan pretty much dominated Dobson. I wanted to see a closer fight, a good fight, but 30-27 for Petrosyan. All 3 judges scored the fight that way.
Okay.
He got outstruck by like twice as many strikes. But yeah, a pretty good event.
Yeah, overall pretty good. Definitely worth the money and the hype. A few twists and turns here. Some fights really delivered, but overall pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I do wish I got some, like $20 back. I don't know, something for that co-main bullshit,
Yeah,
but it's whatever.
they gotta fix that. I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't know what went on behind the scenes because I mean even we know like for example this is how bad they can be. Like Michael Bisping got past their eye exams with only having one eye.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
That
they checked his vision and somehow that guy he passed the exams. He cheated. He admits to have cheated and had his own little system with his coach by his side, like giving him Morse code or tapping him or whatever, and getting him the answers of the exam. But like, I'm just saying there's ways around the system that they have in place.
yeah, they definitely do some bullshit,
Yeah,
dude. Um, to get the fight actually get made or whatever.
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty
Um,
much it for this card. What else you got?
let's see. Okay, sorry, I had to fix this because my headphones just died.
Mm,
Um, so now I'm just hearing you through my laptop.
okay.
Um, that's pretty much it for UFC 280. I think we're good on that. Good event, solid event. A lot to speculate from here on.
Yeah.
Um, we can
And
just
touch on the next fight night.
yeah, we can touch on that. So Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen.
Yep.
Good main event.
Very fun main event.
There's gonna be they're definitely gonna land on each other, man. It's gonna be I can see this being kind of a bloody fight, a strike.
Arnold Allen is more well rounded though. Calvin Kattar is a legitimate boxer, but Arnold Allen he can throw, but he's also got a very good ground game.
Yeah, his boxing is good too. His
Yeah,
boxing is
yeah.
good too, but definitely a good ground game. Um, they're really trying to build these British guys. They're having a UFC close in London. I heard Dana's trying to get a stadium in London for a Leon Edwards, Kamar
Usman.
Usman fight, and then
Yeah,
Kim Maya versus Kobe Covington.
on that card. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Um, Arnold Allen is on a winning streak.
Yep.
He last beat Dan Hooker via knockout. He
Is that
beat
him?
Yusuf, and I'm not sure who else he's beat, but I know he's on a big win streak.
Oh yeah, he's 18-1, and last time he won a fight he wasn't even in the UFC. He was 7-1 in the regionals, and after that, he had two regional fights and went into the UFC and hasn't lost at all. So what is that? That's 11 fight win streak.
Yeah, 11 fight win streak, and then before that had only lost one fight and was on another pretty big win streak.
7 fight win streak. So he's a legit guy. He's just he is a British fighter, and due to the COVID pandemic, we didn't get to see much of him for a couple years because he was stuck overseas. So yeah, it's nice to see him back.
Yeah, and he's going up against a good opponent, a good
Legit contender, a legit like top. What's Kattar like? Number 2, number 3, something like that.
Calvin Kattar. He is ranked. Let's see.
Because I know he lost to Josh Emmett. I think.
He did lose to Josh Emmett.
And then, and that beating he took from Max Holloway.
Calvin
But
Cater's number 5 right now, and
yeah,
yeah, that was a bad one against
but
Max.
he did mess up Giga Chikadze like nobody else has.
Yeah, oh, easy, and Dan Ige.
Yeah.
He lost to Zabit.
R.I.P. Zabit.
Right.
That guy. Yeah. Don't even bring up Zabit. You get me all riled up. That's the man everybody ducked
Pretty disappointing.
forever.
Don't even remind me. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I think that's better for like Yair Rodriguez, so that he's gone. But
Yeah. Now he doesn't have to duck him anymore. He ducked him too.
he
They
did
were
everybody. I don't blame him, dude.
Yeah.
The dude's a doctor now or
Yeah.
something.
Saving people's lives like a real man, like a hero. Yeah.
It's a
But
hard one to choose, though. I think.
that's a hard pick. What do the odds say?
Let's see. Cater's a favorite by -115, so very close.
That's
minus 115 to
101.
minus 105. So it's pretty even, man.
That's very even fight.
I think I'm gonna go with
I kind of want to go with Arnold Allen.
I think I'm gonna go with Arnold Allen as well. Just looking at the stats.
Okay.
Looking at the stats, Cater has a slight height and reach advantage. 5'11 to 5'8 and 72-inch reach to 70-inch reach. Arnold Allen is a southpaw.
Okay.
Cater had trouble against Holloway, who's a southpaw.
Yep.
I mean, that's just whatever. But then
It happens.
significant strike accuracy is higher on Allen's end. And takedown averages are higher and takedown accuracies are higher and submissions are higher on Allen's side.
Because he's more well-rounded. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Calvin Kattar do a submission.
Yeah, but Cater does have what the stat he does have going for him though is significant strikes landed per minute.
Oh, he throws. He's just throwing at you, man. You got to duck.
So if Allen can show that he has a chin, I think he'll win this fight.
I think so.
So you're going with Allen too, right?
I'll take Allen on this one.
Any other fights stand out to you in this?
On this card, let me see. Max Griffin against Tim Means. It's okay. I feel like this card. Oh, Andrei Arlovsky is in the prelims.
Oh, okay.
So is our boy Chase Hooper.
Chase Hooper, that's a good fight.
That's a fun one. Oh, it's always nice to see that guy.
I don't know who Steve Garcia is, but Chase Hooper is fun to watch.
He's fun to watch, no matter what. Nice, fun little grappler. Let's see. Andrei Arlovsky is fighting Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Let's see. Khalil Roundtree is fighting Dustin Jacoby.
That's a good fight. I like Khalil Roundtree. He,
Yeah, at first I didn't think much of him, but then, he was on other podcasts and stuff, and I was like, he's a nice guy. He goes to Thailand to train and such, and he knows some nasty techniques.
Yeah, dude.
Remember that what's that the oblique kick, right?
Yeah.
That's nasty.
When I saw him fight Eric Anders, I think that was the first time that he said he had gone to Thailand to train. His kicks looked so nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. And Jacoby is a good opponent.
Good name.
That's a pretty fun fight. Let me.
There's a couple other names on here that I think maybe you would know from the Contender series. Otherwise, I don't know who they are.
Let's see.
I was like, if anybody knows, it's Abe. I don't know who these.
Which guys?
Let's see. There's Waldo Cortez Acosta, Trezian Gore. Oh, that's the kid from Gore.
Gore, yeah.
Krishan. What's it? Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter.
So the last name just sticks out. Gore. That's a name you don't forget.
Yeah. Waldo Cortez Acosta, I do remember from the Contender series. Just that he's from where's he even from? I forgot. Something Hispanic though.
I don't know. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know.
He's like either Dominican or something. Yeah, I think he's Dominican.
Okay.
Versus Bandera. I don't know who Bandera is. Bandera.
He's American from Washington. He is.
It's on a losing streak.
12-9. It's his record.
Lost against Romanov,
Oh my God,
Arlovsky, Olenek, and Sherman.
Dude, he's on a 4-fight losing streak. If he loses this, he's getting the boot.
Yeah, for sure. They don't even have Cortez Acosta's fucking picture on here, dude. On the
Is it just like that black silhouette?
Yeah.
Okay.
All his wins are from, other organizations. He does have one fight in
Regionals.
Bellator and 2 in LFA. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would have Cortez Acosta for that fight.
Yeah, he's gonna win.
Tresean Gore, I think will win too, just because He probably has that momentum with him about winning the Ultimate Fighter.
He's been in a couple other fights too that they've had him on fight nights.
And dude, actually, he's lost, hasn't he? He's lost
Yeah,
his fights in the UFC.
yeah, he has.
Let's see.
Yeah.
He lost against Brian Battle, who's the other guy that was off of the Ultimate
Hmm.
Fighter. So that must have been the finale. And then Cody Brundage, he lost to him too by knockout. Oof. Well, I still think Goro will win. I think he has something to prove.
So who's he fighting?
Fremd.
Josh
Josh
Fremd.
Fremd.
Who that is?
I don't know, but he lost to Anthony Hernandez recently.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know this guy either.
All right. Fair enough. I really can't tell you anything about him.
Good main event. And I think a lot of these fights on the card
Mm-hmm.
will be surprising in that they'll actually be a
Really
fun watch.
entertaining, yeah.
They'll be a fun watch, even though there's not a lot of known names on here.
Yeah. It's definitely not casual friendly.
Yeah, definitely not casual friendly, but um, we'll have some highlights. I think
Yeah.
might
And
even
with
have more finishes than this pay-per-view.
okay, I was gonna ask because the main event is a featherweight division fight, and with the featherweight champion now being busy at for UFC 284, do you think they make a interim featherweight title? I think they do because they can't just sit around and wait. Need a challenger to be waiting for Volkanovski
I feel
because
like they only do that when they're mad at the champion, like with Ngannou or
he
when they
was
could.
out. He has to be out for a year, so you can't just wait. You have to have a backup champ. So
I
I
wouldn't
think
put it past the UFC because they'll definitely do anything to if it'll mean that it might sell more pay-per-views. Like if they say that it's for an interim title, it'll definitely sell more pay-per-views. So I could see them doing it for that reason. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think Volkanovski's he could probably defend. He could probably fight for the lightweight title and go back to defend his title within you know the same 6 months.
okay, it's possible. It just depends how it goes. But I'm just saying with the champion already occupied and not even being in his own division, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a interim title fight.
I could see that. I could see it happening. Who do you think would go? Who would be the two for the title then?
Uh, I wouldn't be mad if it was either Yair or Max Holloway involved, or but it's hard to make a case for them too. I mean, I would like to see Yair in the interim title fight. I don't know about Max Holloway since he's already faced Volkanovski 3 times.
Yeah, versus Ortega rematch since it ended weird.
Yeah, why not Yair and Ortega for the interim, or maybe the winner of next week's main event? Why not?
Yeah, that one too. The next week's main event. Um, and you got Josh Emmett in there.
Out there too, yeah. Why? Yeah,
And fun, very very
it's
fun.
interesting. I'd say it's interesting. I don't know about fun because Volkanovski's already cleaned it out.
Yeah, I guess I meant aside from Volkanovski and maybe even Holloway, it's fun. It's
Yeah,
like lightweight, featherweight, and bantamweight are well, a lot of these divisions are really fun right now, dude.
yeah.
Welterweight too. Um, but yeah, other than that, nothing much else going on. Nothing boxing, I don't think.
Next weekend we've got Lomachenko against Ortiz
Oh,
and Jake Paul and Anderson Silva.
that was when that's funny because I wasn't even considering that boxing, even though it is boxing. But I was gonna be like, the only thing we have next week is Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. But yeah,
Got
totally.
Lomachenko.
Um, I forgot about that. Um, some pretty shitty news in boxing though.
What's that?
Before we talk a little bit about this is the Crawford thing.
Yeah, that fight fell through.
That's super lame. That and the other fights.
The heavyweight fights.
Was it Fury?
Fury and Joshua fell through, and now they have their own opponents scheduled for December. Tyson Fury is scheduled to fight Derek Chisora in a trilogy fight, which makes no sense. And Anthony Joshua is supposedly fighting Chris Arreola.
Yeah, those fights. Who cares about those fights? You know,
I
that's kind
mean,
of the only thing I hate about boxing is that they almost give you like a year and a half worth of like, oh man, this thing's coming back. Like this is fun again, and
yeah.
then they come out with this bullshit.
Well, the Joshua fight makes more sense because he's on a 2-fight losing streak, and you want to build him up. And why not against Arreola, who last fought Andy Ruiz? Sure. Make Joshua make him look bad. Sure, why not? Have Joshua get a W before he fights any of the champions again. You know, you kind of want to keep Joshua relative. You can't just have him getting beaten now. And then as far as Fury, this fight makes no sense because he whooped Derek Chisora twice badly, wasn't even competitive. I think they're just doing this so that he doesn't have to vacate the belt.
Yeah, there's no like I who wants to see this fight? I don't think anybody does. But you're right, that's probably the only reason they're doing that. And then the Crawford thing is disappointing too, because
That's a lot that went on there, man. Who do you think? Who do you blame? Who do you think is to blame for not wanting to sign this fight?
I honestly,
I think Errol Spence is ducking.
yeah, that could
He,
make sense.
he had the most advantages on in the contract, and he still wouldn't sign. And this fight didn't go through. Like Terrence Crawford gave up a lot to make this fight happen. What is it? The purse was split 70-30 in favor of Errol Spence, which is insane. Like that's a lot of money just being handed over. And what else? All Crawford wanted was transparency with the books, like just to see how much was spent, how much was made, because otherwise they were expecting him to take the money on good faith, which that's insane. Like, no, show him how much he's making. But another little criticism I saw is that maybe this fight is more hype than what it would actually bring in. Like, I don't know if this fight would even bring over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
I definitely don't think it would hit those numbers.
Like it's a big fight, but it would have
Boxing
very low
hardcore.
yeah, very low what would you call it, revenue or profit? I don't know.
I could see that. It definitely wouldn't break any records, you
No,
know.
it's just a fight of talents and skill. It's not like it's not Pacquiao Mayweather or Mayweather McGregor where those were like, those are
You know,
big money fights.
yeah, it's not a big money fight like Pacquiao McGregor, but it is. I mean, like Pacquiao Mayweather, but it is a skill level fight of like that Pacquiao Mayweather, you know,
Yeah.
level skill wise.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, now what? Terrence is booked to fight who? What the hell is he fighting?
shit, I don't know. He's
He's
fighting.
a European welterweight champion. I sent you the thing. Where is it? Ah, what's his name? David Avenasian.
Hmm,
I don't know who that is.
me neither. That's disappointing, but whatever. I mean, hopefully we see it before it's too late.
Yeah, because this is, Terrence ends up waiting like a whole year to fight, and then yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, I want to make a guess before we're out of
Sure.
time here. A guess on this Jake Paul fight and on this Lomachenko fight.
I'm taking Anderson Silva. I want him to win. I don't see Jake Paul beating him legitimately. I believe Anderson will toy with him and then flatten him in the middle of the fight, like round 6. And if it goes to decision, they'll give it to Jake Paul. Some crooked judges will give it to Jake Paul just for the hype or whatever. But I see Anderson Silva knocking him out, hopefully. And of course, Lomachenko is winning this Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I think Lomachenko is going to win, no doubt in my mind. Um, Anderson Silva versus Jake Paul. I gotta say, I'd be horrified if Anderson Silva loses. He's old, and who knows, what shape he's in right now. But I do see him toying with Paul. I just hope it's not one of those, one of like a Chris Weidman situation where he's taunting and gets caught.
Yeah.
Because if that
Build
doesn't
that up.
happen, Anderson Silva's gonna show Jake Paul that he's not at this level, the level that he thinks he is right now.
No, Anderson still got hands. He's still one of the most deadly strikers out there.
Yeah, even at his age.
I mean, we got look, you gotta see what he did to Tito and Tito Ortiz and what's his face, Chavez Jr. He pieced him up.
Yeah, the Tito Ortiz one, I don't pay much mind to because Tito.
They're old, yeah.
But the Chavez one was legit.
Yeah.
But all right, Team Anderson
All right.
Silva and
Team
UFC
Silva.
280 was dope. So I think we're good for now. We'll come back and talk about this Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva results, and we'll go over Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen.
Sounds good. All right.
All right, man. It was fun.
Peace.
All right, dude. Peace.
Keep the pole out. When up in the club, like 20 deep, I keep the Glock out. Shorty a tease, she running around with a top out. They ain't no ops when I pull up, I clear the block out. Kid man shorter, he'll break your jaw, call him knockout. Thought he a cheater, but ain't a thing that I don't know about.